distinguished guests and viewers worldwide. Welcome to another segment of Defendeet. And today's topic of discussion is politics and you. I don't vote. Why should I? I would rather focus on my business, make my money, and live my life the way I want it. You see, this is the ideology of most Nigerians. Having voted after each government, it's the same result from one bad government to another. The system has failed them numerously, so they can't trust the system again. It is these issues, the issue of voter slash political apathy, that we'll be discussing on today's episode of Politics and You. So, my well esteemed viewers, stay locked in and don't touch that dial. Thank you. Welcome back once again to this wonderful segment of Defendeet, Politics and You. Our guest today is a very, very important personality. He's well known as Mahansa, also known as Ezengwoko, Enugu State Cultural Music Ambassador, a social political critic, a Nigerian musical cultural ambassador, Subobab, Badichi, and Berlin. He is also the current Enugu State Chapter Chairman, Alibu Development Foundation, ADF. Please help me welcome Mahansa. Very much welcome, sir, on this episode.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's so good to have you here.
It's good to be here as well, and then to the viewers as well.
Okay, so on today's topic, it is politics and you. And politics is undeniably a topic that we discuss every day, whether directly or indirectly, whether you are a politician or not. Be you a child, an adult, a teenager, we all talk about politics because it's what is happening around us and within us. So, sir, we want to discuss something very crucial, the upcoming 2027 elections. The dynamics. We see a lot of things happening on the ground. We see the whole party movement. We see the games they're playing. We see the whole chaos happening from the primaries and all of that. So what I would like you to show in a little bit more light, share with us your thoughts on the upcoming 2027 elections. What do you think about the masses? What do you think about people coming out to vote? The way that we all came out during the 2023 election, the energy that was put into it at that time. Do you think we are likely to receive that kind of energy again come 2027?
Well, 2027 will be a very interesting political atmosphere for me, the way I see it, because the last elections, 2023 elections, was done and a whole lot of people were dissatisfied with the results that came from there and the shenanigans that was attached to all that when it was happening.
Right.
And it will, of course, give rise to some level of voters' apathy because a lot of people have been dissatisfied with the electoral system and the electoral processes in Nigeria based on the past election and other elections that have been coming. But the typical Nigerian person right now is finding some ray of hope because they are right in a turmoil, a very heavy turbulence,
of course,
that is swallowing everybody. The people who are collecting money from politicians are collecting money and their families are getting swallowed in the quicksand, and they refuse to see them being swallowed in the quicksand, and they refuse to accept the fact that everybody's going down. But those who are seeing it are beginning to say, if we don't do something about this, we are all going to get down to the bed of the sea. So I see something very interesting coming up with alliances,
yes,
gimmicks that are happening. And I think there will not be much of voters apathy this time because of the candidates that are coming.
Okay.
Because it's no longer about political parties now. It's about the candidates. Because one can have a political party that has a wrong candidate at the grassroots level, and then at the upper level, have a different person that he says, oh, I want this person to be, I would like this person to be the president, in as much as it's not, I don't belong to the same political party, but that it's all about this personality, you know. So yeah, I think that's what is going to play out in this 2027 elections. Yeah, that's what is going to happen. That's what I see.
That was a very, very interesting and intriguing response. But we know that in truth, beyond, just like you said, that there will not be so much of political apathy, you know, come 2027 elections. We know very well that it goes beyond getting the PVCs and voting. You know, the polity, they are demanding security, you know, economic reassurance, because we see what's happening, the insecurity challenges, the police brutality, we see what's going on with the fuel hike and price. So that, what do you think that the government can do to calm the masses down, you know, to reassure them that come 2027 elections, when, you know, there is a change of government or something, that things will get better? Is there, you know, is there something, is there any little line of hope that something like that will happen? You
know, every politician that comes up,
yes,
gives people a ray of hope.
Yeah.
But the problem is that the people that are being given a ray of hope seem not to be thinking. Sorry, I have to be blunt, because if we don't tell ourselves the truth, if we keep looking south when there's a problem facing us, and then we're looking south to know whether there's going to be a remedy or some Messiah coming to save anybody. No Messiah is coming to save anybody. Because the amalgamation of the northern and southern protectorates of Nigeria brought about a chaotic system that is not meant to work ab initio. That's the point. Now, we as Africans, we as Nigerians, we'll have to find a way to make this political system, this democratic system, work. If we are going the way we are going, because you talked about the politicians coming in to reassure people, and nobody, they will always reassure you before the polls. But once the polls are done and they do their manipulation and get whatever thing they want to get the results out there to their own advantage, they go back to the drawing board and do what they have been doing. And when did Nigeria have independence? 1960 to 2026. And somebody comes out, he has reassured you the last time, and he comes to tell you that you have water, I will construct road, I will do this, I will do... What's that? Since 1960? Since 1960, somebody squanders money for electricity. And we're still talking about electricity in Nigeria. So I think people should start waking up and start telling themselves the truth about these things. We can't keep deceiving ourselves. If people deceive themselves, I don't deceive myself. That's the point. And I believe there are people like me who don't deceive themselves. So if we want this thing to work in Nigeria, we have to all tell ourselves the gospel truth. And the gospel truth is, enough of this nonsense happening. That's all we need to do. If you want that reassurance, then we will get these politicians and say, okay, fine, we've heard your political manifesto. These are our demands. Sign this for us. That when you enter, you're going to do this. This is what the people want. Because politics is a social contract. People are giving you their rights. They're relinquishing their rights for you to take over the system and take care of them. And then you're stealing from them. You're making the things difficult for them. So people need to know these things. They're not doing you a favor. Politicians don't do you a favor. They're stealing from you. That's what it is. I'm sorry for what I want to say and what I'm saying, because that's exactly what if nobody's going to say it, I'm going to say it. That's why people have been saying it. They're stealing from your commonwealth, and then they're creating hunger. And then the reassurance you're talking about is to give you rice and onions before the elections. And when you take the rice and onions and probably the kai they give you and whatever thing they give you, you take it. After that, what happens? You can't even have access to them when they're at the government house. Well, what kind of democracy is that? You can't even see your local government chairman when you want to go and see your local government chairman. Is that how we're supposed to live as human beings? Or the same people travel abroad and they can have access to whatever mayor, whatever president they want to have access to. Anybody in the system or outside this country can have access to his mayor, have access to his governor. Why can't we have access to our own people here? This is a system the white man brought to us. They brought the so-called democracy, which I know that, of course, if we have to go to the extreme, I see it as a fraud, because what we are doing here is just a fraud. If you can't have access to the people, you just sit down and then you say this is what the people want. How do you know what people want? Because you don't even have any town hall meetings where people can come and ask you questions boldly. They can't ask questions boldly because everybody is scared. That's the point. So we shouldn't be walking like this and be talking about democracy. This is not democracy as far as I'm concerned. But I'm just here to talk about it because I just have to come and talk about it.
Of course.
Yes.
So I would. This has been a very, very intense one. So I would take you back a bit. You had said something about, that the issue started ab initio from the amalgamation, that it shouldn't have been an amalgamation at first. So could you buttress on that point? So are you trying to insinuate that it would have been better each, tribe to their own, because bringing us together as a unified country shouldn't have been? Is that what you're insinuating?
You see, one can get married to somebody he never knew. Somebody could recommend a woman for a man or a man for a woman. They don't know themselves. They never knew themselves have an issue. Yes. But when they start staying together, they build trust. They build a relationship. Now, we have done this since 1960, for crying out. And then we are still having issues of, this man is from here, marginalization. What's that? It means it's not working. Whatever amalgamation story that was given to us ab initio is not working. If it was meant to bring all of us together and then for us to live in harmony, oh, beautiful. But why are we living in harmony? Are we really living in harmony? We are not living in harmony. So why are we deceiving ourselves? If it's not working, it's not working. I'm not saying it shouldn't work. It can work. When we say it has to work. So which means if the system that was brought to us by the colonial masters is not working, the onus lies on us to use our heads to say, okay, fine, this thing is not working. How do we tailor this to work for us? And we have political scientists. What are they doing? What are they all doing? It's a PhD, political science, MSc, whatever thing you have, give it to them. But what are they doing? Why are they not functioning properly here? Why are they not being consulted to say, okay, how do we do this thing and get this thing right? So I think it's a deliberate thing to keep Nigeria like this. Because I said it, that this amalgamation was designed not to work ab initio. That's how I see it. That's my opinion anyway.
I don't know if you got that, but that's a very deep question right there. Are we living in harmony? Despite the idea of unifying the nation, are we really living in harmony? Anyways.
I'll give you an instance.
Okay.
We have a national anthem.
Yes.
Arise, O compatriots. Were that is abolished? I think they have researched on those words and seen that thing will put them in trouble. Because when they say peace and unity, who is having peace and unity in Nigeria? Look at the insecurity. Look at what is happening in Nigeria. So how can you be talking about peace and unity?
Yes, because I was about to come to that point of insecurity. Because we've had, I think, in the space of last month and April, we've had series of cases of missing persons. And it runs concurrently. After this person is found, the next person goes missing. We've also even had the police brutality case that happened in Delta. The 28-year-old Mene Ogidi, I mean to say, the guy that was brutally shot because the officers had claimed that he had a parcel. They were having their on the road search moments, and then he had a parcel.
The question is this.
Yeah.
How many times has the government said nothing like stopping and searching on road? How many times have they said it? Has it been implemented? That comes a time in a man's life he asks himself fundamental questions. If I'm married to a woman, for instance, and the woman is not treating me right, I have a right to say, okay, you can step out, you can go. It's not working. This marriage is not working. And then when the person has a contrite heart, a broken and a contrite heart, and says, okay, I think I've done wrong here. Can we just sit down and discuss this? I can open up the doors and we have a conversation. Nobody is perfect. Nothing is perfect. If we have to subject it to the physical plane.
Yeah.
But then we are all perfect in our ways. Okay? So the problem I have with this system is that people just don't want to tell themselves the truth. It's a simple thing. If something is not working, it's not. You don't force it. Don't force it. What you need to do is ask yourself, how do we tailor this thing? How would we go around this thing to suit us? not to suit a particular set of people for their selfish reasons, and then avoiding the mass of the people. Because it is from that mass of the people that you will have your insecurity, because you've kept them hungry and they have to wake up someday, and then you've stolen the money, your children will be kidnapped someday, or even you will be kidnapped.
I would like to take you back a bit. So, do you really think that the issue with the Nigerian leadership, is it a followership problem or a leadership problem?
The people get a leader they deserve. That's just how I look at life. If we want to change things, we can change things. The followership thing and the leadership thing are all juxtaposed in such a way that, like I would always say, the people get a leader they deserve. People might argue this, but that's just the reality of it. If we say democracy is the government of the people, for the people, and by the people, if the people are funny in their behaviors, their leadership will be funny. If the people are sincere as a people, they will get sincere leadership. But because our people are not sincere in entirety, some people are sincere, some are not, but I believe the population of people who are sincere to themselves, then how can you get a leadership that is sincere when majority of the people are insincere? It doesn't make logical sense. It doesn't follow. You know, so when people thrive on what they are going to steal from the commonwealth of the people, from the system, how can they have sincere leadership? Because people will criticize their leaders. Oh, this leader is this one is a bad man. Give the person the head of Okada people or head of Motopark people. You will see him exercise the same dictatorship. So it's not about the leadership. It's about we as a people. We have eroded our cultural values, our human values. And then where do we expect the leader to come from? Some messianic leader or something? That is utopian. We're just deceiving ourselves. And at this level, like I said, if you had independence since 1960 and you're still where you are, still discussing giving people water, giving people light, giving people constructing roads, it means you're not doing anything. You're wasting your energy and time. And we've been wasting our energy and time in Nigeria. That's the reality of it. The earlier we begin to tell ourselves the truth, the better for everybody. Just like I said, give somebody just a little position somewhere. Yeah. And then you will see that this thing is inside them.
So basically, the people, like, we give out exactly what we have trained.
Exactly. That's who we are. And then something happened to us that made us that way. For instance, in the South, it is very good to look at history as well. Because since after the war and how the Igbo man was settled after the war, compensates that they received, it gave rise to a dog-eat-dog situation in Ali Igbo. And that is something that I can see that is very, very fundamental with what our value system of today is like. You know, where people were millionaires and then all of a sudden they were cut short economically, and then they have to start their lives afresh in a colonially puppeted system that was controlling the Igbo man so that he can't rise from where he found himself, you know. And that's such a thing comes with so many compromises in the value system, and compromises in perspectives to life, you know, because people have now been put on a survival mode. So it did a lot to the Igbo man, but for me, we should have outgrown that by now. You know, we don't have to dwell in what system we were boxed into, finding ourselves in there, and then we're thriving on it, and then it becomes part of us, the new Igbo man. That is wrong. That is very wrong, you know. So it should have made us to come in within ourselves, discuss within ourselves, address the issues ourselves, tell ourselves the truth, and say, okay, let's forge ahead together as one, as a people. You know, that's what we need. And then this concept of Igbo, but I don't believe in that. We can come together. If you look at yourself and see where you are politically in Nigeria, you should strive to change it. If you see a system that's not working, you should.
No, it's not working.
It's not working. You do something else about it. That's it. Don't go and get yourself stuck and say, this is no, it's not true. You do something about it, you improve your situation. That's where I'm coming from.
Very, very valid point. I mean, there is a lot to pick from this particular episode, and I hope you're picking something. So I would actually like to hear from you. I believe you must have heard or seen the issue, like I pointed out, because I want to now table it down to, the police brutality that has been happening in the country. Some years back, if my memory serves me right, that should be 2021, when we had the end SWAT
And SARS.
and SARS, thank you, protest. Before the government started telling us that they changed the name from SARS to SWAT, every people shared their experiences of the kind of violation that they have experienced from the officers, how they've just been searched, without warrants for no particular reason. Some people even go to prisons for crimes they did not commit, particularly. And a few months ago, it was heartbreaking, heart wrenching to witness the death of a 28-year-old young man, who was begging and pleading for his life, explaining how he did not know how such a dangerous weapon got into his waybill. So what do you have to say about that? Following the reactions, there was so much, people were outraged, regarding the guy's sudden death.
It's not enough to be outraged. It's not even enough to condemn an act verbally or vocally, whatever. Oh, we condemn the act of the insurgents. Oh, we condemn the act of the kidnappers. Oh, we condemn the act. You just said it. Has it stopped it? We should stop fooling ourselves. That's just the reality of it. We call a spade a spade. If you look at the policing system that we have in Nigeria, our policemen, some of them are very good. I've met very good policemen. I've met them. They have conscience, intelligent, and diligent in their work. But it has to do with the system. Sometimes, even when they are doing their work, the system will, make them try to compromise. Some of them will even leave the work. I'll say, out of my moral standards, I can't do this. It still dates back to colonization. I keep saying it, colonization. Colonization has not left us.
Yeah, they put a number on us with that.
It has not left us. Let's stop fooling ourselves and saying, we had independence. No, you never had any independence. He never left you. Okay? If the policing system in Africa, in Nigeria, for instance, is the same policing system you see outside Nigeria, then you'll understand, okay, we can say, okay, fine, we copied it. I don't know where we got this system from. A group of boys are sitting down somewhere, just drinking their beer. You have not provided anything for them. You have not even given them incentives in life. They're drinking beer, but because you look at them and you say they look suspicious. What do you mean by somebody looking suspicious? And then you go and arrest them and pack them and put them in cell. And then right there in the police station, bail is free. And then the people are collecting money. What is all that? Are you telling me they don't know what they're doing? The earlier we begin to tell ourselves the truth, because this thing goes round, as the way life goes. You hurt a man, you will be hurt. Nature has a way of bringing these things around you. That is what it is. So even if you're the hatchet man, you will still pay for it. That's the truth about life. Majority of the hatchet men that have been used all over the world, how do they end up? Nobody's going to live forever. If we get it straight, then we have to start thinking right. The people that will use you will kill you. They will take you out at the end of the day, because they don't want you to spill the beans. So why would you allow yourself to be used if you're a man of conscience? But because they have introduced money in the system, we go and do this dirty work. We are going to pay you this money. Go and do this one, you're going to pay you this money. Okay, they pay you the money. And at the end of the day, what happens? You buy cars, you live abroad, you do all this. And at the end of the day, what happens? Vanity. People sell themselves for nothing. Vanity, complete vanity. So if we continue that way, or if people begin to lock their minds to say, I want this money, you will get this money. But where is it going to take you to? Where is it going to take you to? Sometimes I see politicians, they say, by next 2000, in the next 5 years, I will be this. You don't even know about the night you're going to sleep. You don't know. You don't know the next time you will breathe. So why are we deceiving ourselves? Why are we living this kind of life we live? It doesn't make sense. To me, it doesn't make sense. I've seen a man say, oh, darling, I'm going to work. Well, when I come back, and he just died on the road there. It happened to me one day in Lekki when I was driving home. This guy died on the wheel. Possibly I'd called the wife and said, okay, I'm coming back home, and then the woman has prepared the food for him. And this man just slumped on the wheel there in the hold-up, the traffic. So, what are these things we are doing? Where are we picking all these things from? And the bad side of this is this. Governance is a very simple thing. It's not your money. It's the people's money. Use the people's money for the people. That's all. And then you're using the people's money and making it look like you're a magician. You're not a magician, for crying out. It's their money. You're stealing their money and then you're making them believe that you're doing something for them. What's that?
That's really crazy.
What is all that? And then you construct a real, people come and start clapping for you. Why are you clapping? It's not your money. It's the people's money.
You are meant to do this.
That's your work. It's your work. So that's what the voters need to know. You don't beg them. You tell them, listen, this is what we want. And then they're the people's servants, for crying out. That's what it is. So you see, the problem is just ignorance. People are just ignorant of who they are. When you have 1,000, vote. You're buying votes. Vote buying. And after they want 1,000, you know how much they're going to chop on your head when they're trying to do that road across your house. They will chop it in millions, and they've given you rice and onions, it can't last the next morning. So people need to be educated on these things. That's the education we need to do. And it's so shocking and heartbreaking and heart-wrenching that such a thing is happening in Igbo. How can Igbos who fought the war, who went to a disadvantaged position because of the war, be seeing this kind of thing? And this is done by our own brothers, our own people. It doesn't make logical sense to me. You don't do that. It's anti-Igbo, as far as I'm concerned. We shouldn't be living like that. Ali Igbo is supposed to be like Singapore. No politician in Ali Igbo should be talking about giving water. This thing should be happening inside people's houses. Rents down, everything down, taxation, whatever thing down. And then you attract our people from outside to come back and build Ali Igbo. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Not to be driving our people away. Doesn't make sense. And then you acquire all the money, and then what are you going to do with the money? It makes no logical sense to me. That's just my opinion. Anyway, it's my opinion.
Right, because that brings me back to the reason we are here. This is Defendeet, Politics, and You. Okay, you had made mention of something which I would, like to talk about a little bit. Where, getting towards the end of this particular episode. But, you had said that people need to be educated of these things. We need to know that we are not supposed to be begging those in government to do what they are supposed to do.
It's a social contract. We are relinquishing our rights for you to take lead of our situation. And then you're stealing from us.
And then we are clapping.
And then we are clapping for you for giving us peanuts. It doesn't make logical sense. People need to know it. If the man is going to serve, he's going to serve the people, not to lord over the people.
Yes, and that's why I want to quickly ask this question.
Well, go on.
How exactly do we tend to educate the masses about this thing? Because it just feels like it falls on, deaf ears, like we're just pouring water on stones. Because the truth is, just very few people know this, and people tend to talk about it. That's why we have shows like this where we bring, personalities like you to educate us, to enlighten us on things we do not know.
Well, if you're talking about educating the people, you see, when people have been tortured with hunger, and you want to educate them on what is supposed to salvage them from the situation they find themselves in, It's a very tough situation, because they need to eat first. And this starvation, this I like to use the word tactical genocide that is being committed by these people who brandish themselves as leaders, or rather rulers, not leaders, because I don't know what they're leading anybody to, but they're just rulers. These people who do this thing do it technically. They have to create the hunger, and when they create this hunger, whatever is dangled to anybody,
They quickly.
they will want to swallow it without asking whether it's poison. Because as far as I'm concerned, any inducement given by any politician to the people for his selfish reasons is poison. That's how I look at it. That's how I look at it. Because poison is something that goes inside you. It's a toxic thing that goes inside you and destroys you. Now you have eaten it, but you can't hold on anything. You've eaten it and it's killing you. It's taking you out gradually. Do you understand? So it's poisonous to collect things from them. That's how I look at it. So what we need to do is to set up institutions that will clip on these things, however we want to do it. But we have to set up institutions that will clip on this massive primitive acquisition that is happening, debauchery, the corruption that is going on. Now, the education that you are asking about,
Yes.
can happen when people begin to know that whatever these people are giving them is poison. You don't need to eat it. And then they should stand up and defend their votes. When you stand up and say, enough of what you are doing to me, enough of what you are doing to me. If you are coming to take leadership, we are going to give, okay, this community, this is what you are going to do for us. If you are going to do this, we're going to give you our votes. You do this, we sign it. And then somebody comes and, somebody is going to take over the mantle of leadership, determining your life through policies. And you say, oh, just for 4 years. How much time? 4 years. Okay, 8 years. 8 years. You know what 4 years is in somebody's life? Stop deceiving ourselves. So if we don't want our politicians, if we want our politicians to do the right thing, they will do the right thing. If we don't want our politicians to do the right thing, then we don't want them to do the right thing. Then why are we complaining? We shouldn't be complaining. Because we don't even like the right things to be done. We don't like it.
True. Very true.
We don't want the right things to be done.
Yes.
So what are we talking about?
We are allergic to right things in this country.
It's more like it. When you want to do the right things will be done. Exactly. But we're not ready. That's the truth.
That's true. You had said something about, we talking about our votes, when our votes cannot be accounted for. We have to take it upon ourselves to talk about the fact that I voted. We had voted for this particular person, and then people are looking for dubious means, to just take advantage of it. I believe the 2023 elections, there was this particular guy who had actually stood up for his votes, Mr. Ephraim Okoye. He had actually taken this whole matter of his votes not counting to court. And then the court had ruled that every voter, is where you're obliged to actually question the INEC, the National Orientation Agency. You're obliged to question them that your vote needs to be accounted for. What happened exactly? But I think that was just, it was in his case that was actually captured, because I don't think, with the way we are talking about the masses, I don't think we have that enough orientation to be able to stand up for ourselves and say that, oh, you people are messing with our votes.
You see, I said something. When the people are serious, the politicians will be serious. Everybody will be serious. We're not serious. When we are serious, we will know that we are serious. We're just deceiving ourselves, claiming we are serious. So, you see, when you lie to yourself, lies will be following you. But when you tell yourself the truth will be following you. So we are not serious people. We're not. It just ends the whole topic. We're not serious. When we are serious, we will know.
Okay, so we've had quite an intense moment in this room. This episode has been so intense, intriguing, and enlightening. I don't know if you've been learning anything, but I have been picking a whole lot of points. And one of my favorite lines is, we as a nation, we as a people, we are not serious yet. Because when we get serious, of course, our leaders will know. They will feel the heat. So, Mr. Mahansa, please, are there any last words you would love to leave for us before you exit the studio.
The words I will leave for Nigerians is a very simple thing. We have to get serious if we want things to be done seriously. If we want to keep joking and praying to God to come and do whatever thing for us, then we will continue to be treated the way we are treated. Just a simple thing. That's all I can say.
Thank you so very much.